Erik and David, those betting magicians pitching mad numbers like surgeons' incisions. They got the stats playing minds like percussion. MLB predictions spark the discussion. Stacking cash higher than Fenway's monster. Slinging wild bets like cowboy imposters. Reading those innings like Nostradamus. Wave the green hot streets like Bahamas. Spreadsheets everywhere, mathematician minds analyze the games, profits they grind, fastballs, curveballs, every pitcher's tail, in their heads, knuckleballs never fail. Erik reading numbers like tarot cards, David calling shots like all-star guards, money lines, parlays, come hit with precision, home run predictions, no intermission. High stakes, ballers cashing checks in, rise with the bets, swinging from the pen. Erik and David, masters of scoreboard. MLB bets and claim they hoard. High stakes, ballers cashing checks in, rise with the bets, swinging from the pen. Erik and David, kings of the ledger. Baseball fortune, spread them like treasure.
Hello and welcome to Diamond Bets for July 5th. How is everyone doing? My name is Eric. I'm the man behind eToff21 Sports, and my co-host is David, aka bettor DP21. David, how you doing today, my man?
Doing great, man. I came back with all, fingers and toes accounted for after yesterday. So, definitely feeling fortunate on that end compared to probably somebody around the world is not having that same feeling.
No Pierre-Paul incidences for you.
Right. None of that.
I will admit on Instagram, I follow a female wrestler who I think is cute, and she posted a fireworks disaster she had to run into her house. Yeah, that's the only thing I saw. Mine was pretty tame, dude. The girl I'm dating is from England, so she really doesn't care. Sat on the patio. And we split a 40, watched the little fireworks, and then we watched the new Beverly Hills Cop movie. That was my 4th of July.
Did you let her know we kicked their ass? Did you at least say something?
I was like, how does this make you feel that we're celebrating kicking your ass in a war?
Yeah, 248 times over.
But dude, I'll tell you what, not going to parade, being able to watch fireworks from my patio, for me, that's a win because I hate crowds. Parades, you know what? Don't do it for me anymore. And fireworks, too much of a crowd. And you can't really drink here when you do fireworks. Patio split in a 40, dude. That's the American dream right there, man.
I don't hate that. It's kind of nice. I can definitely respect the 40. It was one of my first drinks ever as a teenager. Back in the day. Really,
don't judge, dude. Don't judge.
Really bringing it back.
Don't judge. We went to the store. We got some brats. I was like,
what kind of 40? What kind of 40? I don't think I got an answer to that.
Just a Miller Lite. 40. Nothing.
So not 211 Steel Reserve,
no,
Mad Dog.
No. There's a big discussion. We couldn't agree on what we're gonna get when we went to the store yesterday. I was like, fuck it, I'm just getting this 40.
Okay.
And then I can't do a British accent, or I would impersonate her. But she said I can't do accents. I'm not that cool. But we're here to make some money. I apologize. Don't laugh, my friend. Rough week for the show last week. David wasn't here. I had the Brewers and Cubs over 8.5. Big L there. Reynolds over 1.5. Hits, runs, RBIs, and L. And the Rockies, White Sox over 8.5 and L. 0-3. I lost 3.1 U. I'm at 5-1 point half a U for the show so far. David's at 4-4 plus 1.4 U. So, we missed you last week, dude. We really missed you because you know what? I didn't produce, and I apologize to that. Hopefully, we can get back in our winning ways. And David's got 3 bets. David's got 2 bets. I have 3 bets. So I'm going to start us off going to Dodger Stadium, man. I'm doing the Brewers and Dodgers over 7.5 for the year. Brewers 3rd best batting average against righties. 4th most runs scored last month. 8th best average, 12th most runs scored. Also, they're due just for some positive regression. I'm a Brewers fan. I've been watching the games. Last 3 games, 29 hits, only 10 runs, 29 runners left on base. They're due for some positive regression.
I know where
Glass
that's coming from.
now, dude, look at 3 whip last game against the Giants with a 15 ERA. He looked brutal. Dodgers for the season, 9th best batting average, have scored the 2nd most runs versus right-handed pitching. Last month, 11th best average, but they have scored the most runs against right-handed pitchers. Newly acquired Aaron Savall on the mound, 1.48 whip for the month, 4.32 ERA. Got beat up by the Nationals his last start out. We have both teams that are good hitting right-handed pitching. Both pitchers have struggled last game out. Wind is actually going to be blowing out at Dodger Stadium. Overs at Dodger Stadium, 58.1%, 13.1% ROI. When it is under 8.5, when the total is 8.5 or lower, the over is 62.5%, 21.4% ROI. And I mean, dude, if you're just blindly betting Brewers overs, there's 62% to the over, 19.1% ROI against right-handed pitching. So look, I'm going to go back to it. I lost it the other day. Maybe I'm just a stubborn old man. I'll take a Brewers over. Dodgers over 7.5.
All right. I mean, that's definitely an angle that I was looking at earlier as well. I'm also projecting the over in this game for what it's worth, up to 9 runs. So I like all the points you just made there.
And it's funny, like, oh, the Brewers need to make a move for a top-of-the-flight starter.
Mm-hmm.
They trade for this guy, Aaron Savall from the freaking Rays. That's right. Like their big move. Like, it's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you're hitting well. Go get a top-end guy, man, which you easily could have gone with the prospects you have. Next bet. And, like, I'll tell you what, this team has been doing good. Watched the game last night against the Dodgers. Fun, entertaining game. Give it on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, first bet that I got going here is Arizona at San Diego. They are Arizona over the last 10 games, 7-3, looking really strong. I've got them right now rated as my number 1 overall offensive team. I bet on them last night. I'm just keeping it rolling right now with them. But basically, the way that I look at this game is pretty straightforward, right? So I always base my stats off the numbers and what they're saying to me. And right now, San Diego's bullpen's a mess. They basically are not rested coming into this. They're showing a whip of close to 1.45. And like I mentioned on previous shows, anything above a 1.4, I really start to, kind of steer away from. But not only that, but on Randy Vasquez has a starting whip of 2.1. 2.1. He's given up so many walks and hits to opposing players right now. Not in great form whatsoever. And you're taking on the like my rated number 1 overall offense walking into this game. I just think they're going to light this dude up tonight. I am all over the D-backs. And Slade, on the other hand, sporting a very sharp whip at 1.1 for himself, with their bullpen able to back him up at a 1.1 as well for themselves. So really like the form of Arizona starter. I really like their bullpen, so we can play the full game here with their money line. I really also, to our advantage, Arizona, best offense walking into this series. It's kind of what I love about weekend series. When we start doing these things on Fridays, you can like really take advantage of some, really, what do I want to say, like money lines that to our advantage. We have a better edge over the book here in so many ways. So, it's really to our advantage to bet on, bet these Friday games really hard. So definitely look at that. Like I said, there's just a plethora of things. Again, not only just is San Diego a starter in bad form, but also their bullpen's in bad form. And the Padres, to me, are ranked the number 25 offense walking into this series as well. So huge offensive edge, huge pitching edge. Let's just throw it all into Arizona tonight for where I'm going with this first bet.
I like it. And you know what? Since you only had 2, I just quickly added another one. Okay. I'm taking the Tigers first 5 even money. Now, this is going to blow your mind. After beating the Yankees in the final game of the series for the year, how many of those teams have won the first game of the next series?
Like nobody.
Nobody. Literally nobody. It's like letdown city. To me, this is just a letdown spot. You're coming off sweeping the Yanks on the road. You got the loathsome Tigers coming down to Cincinnati. Reds first 5 as a favorite, only 48%, negative 13.6 ROI. Home for the year, 44%, negative 13% ROI. At home versus a righty, Reese Olson is going on the mound, 38%, negative 24% ROI. Reese Olson, his numbers are very deceptive. He's capped in no run support. He had one bad outing when he allowed 12, 2 back. But if you take that out, in terms of whip and ERA, he's one of their best pitchers on the staff toward the top half of MLB. I'm thinking he's going to be able to get some run support tonight. Tigers second best as a dog this year in terms of ROI. So I'm going to take a shot with the Tigers, and I'm going to do one more play. And God damn it, this is turning into one of my favorite teams to bet. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Give me the Chicago White Sox plus 110 for the first 5. I really like this kid, Thorpe. I really like what I've seen from this kid. When we look at the Marlins, 11th worst batting average versus righties for the year, and they've scored the second fewest runs. The last month, 3rd worst batting average against righties, have scored the fewest runs. Since coming up, Thorpe, 4.43 ERA, 1.23 whip. But the thing is, you take away that first start where he was a little nervous, a little rattled. After that first start, you see these young pitchers settle in. 0.75 whip, 1.5 ERA. Marlins, second worst team, first 5 of the season, 33.4%, negative 23% ROI. At home this season, 33%, negative 29.3% ROI. As a favorite, 39%, negative 30.2 ROI. And this is going to shock you, but this isn't going to shock you because you and I have talked about it before.
Yeah.
Sox, fifth most profitable team this year in the first 5.
Yep.
Their starting pitching has performed well. It's their bullpen, which has been absolute crap. Bullpen game for the Marlins. I don't have their bullpen rated that high. I actually trust more of the Marlins hitters, more of the White Sox hitters compared to the Marlins.
Oh, you should.
I'm going to be on the White Sox here plus 110 for the first 5. And God damn it, second time in 3 days betting the goddamn White Sox in the first 5.
Hey, we had our Fetty Day the other day. I know we reached out to each other and we talked about it. So everything you're saying right now, I mean, I looked at this game. So, I didn't make it an official bet for myself. I'm going to now. You pushed me over the edge with that. But basically, White Sox are my number 5 overall offensive team walking into this series against Miami. Miami's my number 20th ranked, just based on pure offensive scoring performance from both these teams. So for what it's worth to what you just said and backing up everything with the starting pitching compared to their bullpen, it makes the most sense. You're getting plus money, take it with the White Sox and cash that ticket.
So last Sunday, I had this crazy 5-team parlay going on. And one of the legs in it was Rockies money line versus the White Sox. I went down there. I took the 5-day commute down to the south side of the city. It takes forever to get down there, but I went down there. Guess how much my ticket was for the Rockies at the White Sox?
How much your ticket was?
Yeah.
$20.
$1.50.
No way.
I paid more money in tolls there and back for one beer, for my chicken fingers, for parking.
Where was your seat?
Service fees.
What kind of seat was this? Just something?
Dude, it was an upper deck, but dude, no one's there.
Yeah.
Like we were behind home
Walk on
plate
down.
until he got kicked out. We're on the left field side, right in the field until he got kicked out. We're on the right hand first base side until he got kicked out.
Sure.
We were in the exclusive bar down at field side until he got kicked out. We were everywhere and there's no one there. So they give two shits.
Yeah.
They literally give two shits. But dude, $1.50 plus processing fees to see a freaking major league game. I mean, you can't
You
complain.
pay more in processing fees.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah.
Next bet, man. Your final bet.
Okay. Yeah. So next matchup, we're looking at Tampa Bay at Texas. Taking Tampa Bay on the money line for this game as well. We got Shane Baz making a debut spot here for himself, right? So making his first major league start, since actually, I mean, he made an appearance years ago, right? But he basically missed all of last year due to Tommy John. So, we're really looking at this kind of as another debut for himself. But while he was in AAA, he was collecting a great 35 to 10 K to walk ratio for himself across 20 plus innings. So he got about 3 starts, under his belt from that, angle for himself. He has a really good shot to stay in the rotation here as well, kind of going up and going forward for anybody, paying attention in fantasy and such like that. But for what it's worth, he had an under 2 ERA for those 3 starts, that he performed at AAA for Durham, and it was about a 1.5 overall. I didn't get to, find information on his whip, but of course, you're talking AAA coming up to the majors. He's already had a taste of the majors, right? Like he's not going to be some, very, very brand new to, the show. He's just had a year off. He had Tommy John, and is what it is from that regard for himself. So, again, when I kind of look at the numbers on this game and, everything of that nature, the way that I am rating this, man, my numbers just messed up. Hold on 1 second. Is Tampa Bay, in my book here is my number 6 overall offensive rated team walking into this matchup. So, on the opposite foot, we got Texas, and they are they're like middle of the pack. They're number 16, right? So they're about, the league average right now where they're kind of sitting for themselves. They're Texas averaging about 4 runs, the last few games. But meanwhile, the Rays are averaging closer to 6. So taking the better offensive hitting team here for themselves, taking a really good, take on Shane Baz as well. Again, there's like 6 angles when you have to look at, baseball, right? You have your offensive hitting, you got to find the edge there. You got to find your starting pitching edge, and you got to find your bullpen edge. Both these bullpens, though, they're both in about similar form for themselves. So, that you kind of scratch on that one. You look at the offense, and you can kind of scratch on starting pitching. So I'm taking the offensive, game here angle on this, and I really like where this is at, especially because Lorenzen himself, sitting about a 1.2 whip. So he's not like, strongest of all pitchers out there for themselves. But again, I'm taking like the highest hitting teams walking into these series where you're getting a really good price, something that we can find as a really good edge over the book and just kind of go that direction. So, that's kind of been my motto all season. I'm going to stick with it, and let's get behind Baz and the Rays here to keep that offensive rolling.
I like it. My last bet. Look, I'm not much for conspiracies, but I have a conspiracy this season.
Okay.
I think there's one team that it's blatantly obvious they're cheating at home. Blatantly obvious.
All right. Where are you going?
I'm taking the Rockies first 5 plus 154. Just hear me out. No, dude. Just hear me out.
Oh, man.
Hear me out.
I'm going to be at the game, so I love it. Let's go.
Dude, at home, the Royals, 267 batting average, second best in MLB. They have the most runs. I have no idea where there's balloons going up.
Look at you with balloons. All right.
Most runs scored at home. Third best on base percentage. Fourth best slugging percentage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth best on base percentage. Third best OPS, fourth best slugging percentage.
That's at home, right?
That's at home.
Okay. Let me
On the
hear
road.
your away stats. Yeah.
On the road. 218, second worst batting average. That's a big drop. I have no idea what it is. It's probably my goddamn hands. Big drop. I talk with my hands. It's what I do. I talk with my hands all the time.
You're good.
Big drop. Am I right? That's a big drop.
That
From
is.
second best to second worst.
Right.
Most runs scored at home to the fifth fewest. Third worst OPS. Fourth worst slugging percentage. Second worst on base percentage. Are the Royals cheating at home? Dude,
Wow.
dude,
Wow. What?
That
What a take, man.
am I wrong?
Don't
Like,
sound wrong.
Those are some big ass drops.
But to your point, I mean, I'm sure you could rattle off the same thing for the Rockies at home versus on the road. Like, I don't, I only say that because I always tell people, well, first of all, this is, Coors Field, right? And the air is different here in altitude, and it gets the people and all the things when you come to Colorado. But I always say that to anybody. I'm like, if you see Colorado with a plus 150 or higher, take them every single game. They're going to win one of those games in the series. You're going to be plus money. Like, it's just what it is. You don't even have to think about them. And you could play the overs in that. And you should never play unders at Coors Field, ever. Ever, ever, ever. It's like, it's an unspoken rule that everybody should always follow because the air is different out here. It's just the ball travels that way. And you'll see the offensive take always. But yeah, I hear you when you're making that comparison home away.
The Rockies I'm looking right now. Rockies are better on the road than the Royals.
All right.
The only team that the Royals are better than. The
Miami?
Oakland Athletics.
Oh, Oakland. I was going to say it's one of those two.
That's the Miami Marlins are better than them for the season on the road.
Sheesh.
Okay. Also, on the home at first five, Royals, 56% money line. On the road, 44%. They have the third worst batting average versus lefties for the month, second fewest runs. Rockies, here it is. This is the line for the last couple of years. When they are plus 150 or higher at home, 75% hit rate, 86% ROI. It's that plus 150 line you mentioned. This year, just in general, plus 150 dogs at home, 24.1% ROI. And it also has one of my favorite angles, first-time starter at Coors Field.
Oh, yeah. I was actually kind of curious about that. I couldn't recall where Reagan's, if he had been had played already at Coors or not.
He's only faced them at home once. That's it. Okay. So, look, dude, I'm not one of these guys that goes on with conspiracy theories, but when I'm doing my numbers and I see these big dips, and it's like, it's not like there's thin air in Kansas City.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know if they have some incentive of their contracts. They get free barbecue if they score so many runs, but it's not there. There's no logical excuse for why they're so good at home and so poor on the road.
So
with that big a discrepancy.
I'm going to back up this play. All right. So here's where I was trying to come in because I'm going to the game, right? And I was trying to look for any angle to bet this game tonight for myself, and everything in my numbers, basically preached Kansas City, right? Looking at Reagan's current form, looking at the offensive differences between these teams. But what didn't sit well with me looking at this game is the price that the book is trying to give Kansas City. Minus 180, minus one, like these numbers of where they at from an edge perspective, walking in into Coors Field this way didn't sit well with me. Like even at minus, on a run line -1, you were still getting minus 150 for KC. Even if you took -1.5, you were getting minus 125. Like the odds were so high, the prices were so high to bet on KC that it just told me fade them. Like that was my only like read that I had off of reading those lines. I was like, oh, fade the shit out of that. Because then I looked at Freeland and he's got a solid whip coming into this matchup tonight. The Rockies may not be the best offensive team walking into the series between the two teams. However, the pitching, to your point, and pitching for a first time in Coors Field in that kind of environment for themselves is going to play different. And now you just told me all those, away statistics for KC. I really do like that plus 150 that you're getting on the Rockies in the first five. And so,
but 154 plus 154.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Don't jit me on my 4 bones, dude.
I didn't. I gave you 155. Oh. But yeah. So everything that I read, when I did the download of this game for myself, I didn't love the totals. I told you the other day, I was like, I try to stay away from totals at Coors Field in general. It's just not an angle I want to take there. It's just too flip flop. I mean, how many hits did the Brewers have the other day? 15.
You know what? We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to
talk
about it.
That's my point about staying away from totals, people. But that being said, I do actually support. I think the book has set themselves up to be a fade play on KC. Just for where the price is in general.
I mean, I think fading KC is something we're definitely going to have to look into. I'm going to pull it up right now for the season. I wonder what they are for the season. Of course, my little database is being difficult right now. While we're doing that, let's go ahead. Let's pull up our prize picks for today. I went with Patrick Corbin over 2.5 runs allowed. Look, at home this season, 1.46 whip, 5.67 ERA. He's gone over this 5 of 7 games this year at home. Cardinals, decent against left-handers. I think they're going to be able to get to him. This is one of the worst pitchers in Major League Baseball. So I did that. And then I did Donovan Solano over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. This week, he's just in fuego. He is the best hitter this week against right-handed pitching. And the pitcher for the Diamondbacks against righties this year has given up a 292 batting average. So I'm going to go Donovan Solano over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs.
Donovan Solano is my number 225th ranked offensive player.
Dude, I'm just saying he's hot, dude.
He is hot. You know what, though?
Right now, he's hot.
But he is not hotter than this guy. He's not hotter than Christian Walker, who's my prize pick walking into this one for why I chose the over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Christian Walker over this last week is the number 1 overall offensive player in baseball. He single-handedly destroyed LA in their last series. He is walking in. These numbers are video game numbers when I read them off to you. 542 average, 8 runs, 5 home runs, and 11 RBIs in the last week. So, when we're talking about just hot hitting performers, that is why I'm all over Christian Walker for today. And again, as I mentioned earlier, talking about Vasquez giving up a whip over 2, that just is a perfect storm for Christian Walker to hit this number for you tonight. On the opposite foot, I did take a picture as well. I took Pablo Lopez over 1.5 earned runs allowed. Main reason for this is offense. Houston, one of the hottest teams walking into this series tonight, right? So basically for, I think they're number 3. Yeah, they're my number overall 3 ranked offense walking into this series tonight. I look at offensive performance blowing up starting pitching all the time. We did this before, with another prize pick when we gave it out a couple weeks back. Same situation. Give me a top 3 hitting team going against a strong starting pitching. I want to say it was a Pittsburgh. It was like Skeens or something. I guessed over. I said the same thing over 1.5, and they made that locked in to hit 2 runs or something for ourselves that game as well. So I'm taking the same approach here for both of these types of players. Good luck tonight. I think these are more than willing and able to cash for every single angle we just talked about.
Hopefully they'll bring it home. And look, this is my analogy for Big Donovan. Okay, number 225. I know, but dude, it's that night. It's Friday night. You go out. You get 2 numbers at the bar. You come back Saturday. You're feeling it. You get 3 numbers at the bar. He's just in one of those things right now. For the month, he may have gotten 0 phone numbers at the bar, but for those 2 days, he has gotten 5 fucking phone numbers. That's my analogy with Big Donovan.
I love your analogy, but I'm all over Arizona tonight.
One of my best, I was doing the MAC, the conference preview for the MAC, and Ball State lost their top 2 what is it? I made some analogy. I was like, teams that lose all their wide receivers and have a new quarterback coming in, I trust them like I trust the girl whose last name ends in I. You know what I Oh, man.
Oh, God. That's good. I like that.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Like, the girl I'm dating, dude, that was one of the big things. Like, her last name could be one of those names that ends in Y or I.
You've been done? Been out?
Dude, if it was with an I, she would have been given that pink slip, dude. I run it like an NFL franchise over here, dude. Ends with a Y, she's still around. David, I'd like to thank you for coming on, talking a little MLB. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media, my friend?
Yeah, as always, everybody, I hope you all had a happy and safe 4th. Have a great weekend as well. Look for me on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, bettordp21. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you too. We'll be back next week sharing our bets and some more bullshit back and forth. Hopefully you guys enjoy the episode. Give a little like, give a subscribe, helps us out, and we'll see you